Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we made a trade for a prospect in Lawrence from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we decided just to sim the rest of the season and see how this young team would perform, and we actually made the playoffs for the first time in this series. We finished 44, 34, and 4, so it wasn't a great season by any means in terms of how we simulated, but we literally just beat out the Nashville Predators to get into the playoffs, mainly because of that 4-0 win we had over them. If we would have lost that game, there's a chance we could have missed the playoffs, so it was down to the wire, but we made it, and it should be interesting to see what this team can do up against a very tough Colorado Avalanche squad in the playoffs, because we have never obviously been in the playoffs before, but this Colorado team won 50 games during regular season. They have a very good offensive core, very good defensive core, and goaltending tandem, and they also have some solid depth, so it's definitely going to be a tough team to beat for this young team we have. So before we get into the playoffs, let me take a look at the lines again for you guys, just to show you guys what their roster looks like. And we have a few comments to go over before we actually get into this first round matchup. As you can see, the first line is made up of Athanasiou, MacKinnon, and Moore. It's kind of interesting. I find that they split up Rantanen, MacKinnon, and Landeskog, but Landeskog and Rantanen are playing on the second line with Alex Newhook, who is also really good. And then third line wise, they have also a really good player in Jost. They have Bennett, and they have Maltsev, who's a little bit weak, but still a pretty solid player, I guess. And yeah, he has had some pretty okay seasons, I guess. 18 points ain't too bad. And then fourth line rise, they have Martin Kaut, Ryan Dzingel, and Grigory Denisenko. So a very good fourth line as well there in terms of offense and defense. So yeah, that's a very good offensive core. And in defense, obviously, they got Byram, they got Makar, which is scary as shit. They also got Gerard, who's really good, Stetcher, who's a pretty solid piece. Also Justin Barron and Cale Clegg, which is also pretty scary. And in goaltending wise, they're running MacKinnon and Kemper, so their goaltending tandem is probably just as good as our goaltending tandem, but they obviously sim a lot better because they have a lot better of a defense in front of them and better forward core. And then there's their depth as well. They have some depth defensemen and forwards. They have Axel Anderson and Olli Mata, and then also Dmitry Jaskin, who used to play with us back in year number 1. But overall wise, it's definitely going to be a pretty tough task, I think, for us to actually beat them. But if we could get like 1 win or 2 wins in this first round matchup, that would be good enough for me, because obviously we just need this young team to get some playoff experience under its belt. So before we now get into this matchup, we do have a few comments to go over. So the first one is from HawksFan88. He says, playoff hockey is coming back to the desert for the first time since 2012. Also great to see Shelley score 30-plus goals, which is true. Shelley had a fantastic rookie season, as well as John Farinacci, actually. The two of them seem to work really good together, as well as Agostino. But as you can see, Farinacci had 55 points, 27 goals this year, and then Shelley had 34 goals and he shot 14.7% this year, which is also really good to see. Obviously, if we need a chance to beat Colorado, we need to make sure these guys get some goals, and hopefully they end up doing that, because if they don't score, this team might not end up being Colorado or even getting 1 win in this series, because guys like Nathan MacKinnon or Rantanen, they're probably going to tear it up against us this round. The next comment is from Alien Pete. He says, a back-to-back to start the playoffs. Never seen that before. What a great run at the end of the year to secure the playoff spot. Shelley's shooting categories, though, all 99s, which is crazy. He's full maxed out on shooting. He's going to end up probably scoring more goals than Shane Doan did in Arizona Coyotes history, I would assume. So he will one day be the all-time goal scorer, I think, because I think after his ELC, regardless of his overall and his asking price, I'm going to lock him up for 8 years, because he's going to score no matter who he's playing with, if it's a good playmaker, I think. So, yeah, Shelley's definitely a key piece to this team's future. Also, he said a back-to-back to start the playoffs, which is true, because for some reason in NHL 22 they have back-to-back playoff games in the playoff matchups, but I never seen it before in like NHL 21 or 20, so it's kind of weird. But hopefully you could win back one of those back-to-back games in Colorado, because that would be pretty nice, especially headed home. The next comment is from Mike Garbrand. He says, Lawrence, great trade, what a steal. As far as the draft goes, any player from 11 to 15 is much better than 6 to 10. If there's any good prospects there, move up to get them. Next season, let's move up to get young guns from the AHL. Also sim any big games at any time you feel they are. Maybe Lawrence and Shelley future lines. So maybe at some point we could play Lawrence with Shelley, because Lawrence is actually a playmaker. But for right now, obviously Agostino is good enough to be on that second line, even a third liner. So once Agostino starts developing more into first liner, we will move him up to the first line, and maybe at some point Lawrence could play with Shelley. But Lawrence is an interesting player, actually, that we brought in, because as you can see, he had only 3 assists in 19 games, but he was an even 0, so solid defensively. And he also had 11 takeaways and only 3 giveaways in the, 14 games? 19 games he played. So he seems to be a pretty good takeaway player and a good defensive player as well. So yeah, hopefully he could help us out on the defensive end in this first round. But eventually he will be like probably into the top 6 at some point. Next season, if he's like a 76 still, I think I'll play him in the AHL just until he gets some development a little bit. And that way we could call up guys like Braden Tracy, who are down there, who deserve an opportunity as well. And a lot of these other guys down there too. And then the final few comments are from Pens Gaming 7. He says, let's go playoffs. Seems like that was the right decision. The coach should stay, seeing as he led the team to the playoffs. The chemistry isn't the greatest on the team, on the special teams. Something to keep in mind. So yeah, that's something we might need to address into this playoff matchup, is this power play unit. It doesn't have the greatest chemistry, but obviously regular strength does. This power play unit especially really doesn't have any chemistry. I don't really know how I could solve this problem. Oh, I could solve it on that pairing, which is interesting, so maybe I'll try that. But I don't really... Seems like Soderstrom isn't a really good fit for the power play unit. That improves it a little bit. But obviously I don't want to run 4 forward. So I think what I'm going to do is, since we suffered an injury to Samorukov at the end of the season, I am going to give the power play opportunity to Tukinen instead of Clayton Keller, I think. That doesn't seem to work. Tukinen is not actually a good power play fitter. Okay, never mind. So yeah, never mind. We'll just keep Clayton Keller there. But I would like to give Tukinen an opportunity to an extent, because Tukinen hadn't played in the NHL yet, but he had a fantastic season in the AHL. Looks like he is getting some penalty kill time. But his first AHL season was really good with 53 points. And yeah, we had to call him up for the playoffs because Samorukov went down with an injury in the last game of the season. So that's pretty much the only adjustment that this team has made going into the postseason, but should be an interesting matchup against Colorado. Let's waste no more time and get into it, because we've been talking for like 8 minutes already. So let's get into the first of 2 back-to-backs and see if we could win one of these 2 games in Colorado. I feel like we probably will end up getting swept, but if we could win 1 game, I'll be pretty happy with that, because this young team's just here for the experience pretty much. But if we could win a round, that would be pretty nice too. First period of round 1 in game 1, and we are down 1-0. Sam Bennett, who's on the third line. Actually, they're starting on Lenefelt. I should change that to Jack Campbell for next game. I forgot about that, because Lenefelt and Campbell are both 83 overalls. So for some reason, the AI is starting Lenefelt, which I'm not really sold on Lenefelt. Campbell had a better year, so we probably will switch to Campbell for next game. But we're down 1-0 after 1. Shots are 11-8 in favor of the Avs. Second period, and we're down 2-0, so our offense hasn't really been there so far. Lenefelt actually hasn't been too bad so far. 2 goals on 23 shots. We have nothing on 18 shots. Landeskog getting that goal. Let's see what happens here in the third period of game 1. See if we can score a goal in the third period. We have a long penalty kill, and Landeskog gets another goal. I knew that those top guns of Landeskog, MacKinnon, and Rantanen, you just can't stop them. They're going to end up scoring a lot. Landeskog seems like he's going to probably go off on a tear this round based on this first game alone. And we're going to lose 3-0 in game 1, so no offense from anybody, which kind of sucks, because like I said, we definitely need Shelley and Farinacci to get going if we want to have a chance of winning any game in this round. But we don't get any goals. There's the 3 goals. Landeskog with 2 of them. Let me just take a look at the minus players in that game. It was mainly the third line, I think. Tukinen was also -1 in his NHL debut. 3 stars are all Avs players as well, not a surprise, as MacKinnon shuts us out. But yeah, I'm going to make a quick adjustment to the lines and put in Jack Campbell, because I think Jack Campbell would give us a better opportunity to win than Lenefelt did. Even though Lenefelt played pretty solid, I think I got to go with Jack Campbell. Just because of the season numbers are a lot better for Jack Campbell than they were for Linnefeld. Like, if we look by comparison, Linnefeld had a 302 goals against and a 906 save percentage, but Jack Campbell had a 283 goals against and a 912 save percentage, which is a lot better. So Campbell is going to definitely go back in net. And yeah, the rest of that is going to stay the same. Sam Marukov might end up coming back in the middle of this round. So Tukkanen might end up getting sent down by a game number 3 or 4, depending on when Sam Marukov is back. But here we go, game number 2, still in Colorado. Let's see if we could have a better offensive game. If not, I might have to make some line adjustments. First period, and we're up 2-0. Let's go. That's a good start. Power play goal from Dylan Genther. That's also good to see because the power play unit obviously doesn't have the greatest chemistry, but Genther gets a goal, and John Farinacci gets his first ever playoff goal as well. Like I said, we need him to get going as well, and we also need Shelley to get going, so hopefully Shelley can score this game. Shots are 13-12 in favor of us. Second period, and we're up 3-2, so the Avs strike back with a goal from Newhook on the power play. They're getting a lot of power play goals, actually. Our penalty kill's not been good. Fisher gets us a goal. The bank has up 3-1, but MacKinnon gets another on the power play. So they've literally scored, I think, like 4 power play goals or 3 power play goals in the first 2 games. So we might need to address our shorthanded unit a little bit and see if we can fix that problem, and maybe that will help us win games. But we're ouching him 22-21 going into the third. Let's see what happens. See if we can hold this off and win our first playoff game as Calvin Shelley gets his first ever playoff goal, and that's a big goal too to give us a 2-goal lead, but Newhook pulls the Avs within 1. Final few minutes of game number 2 here in Colorado still. We're getting badly outshot, and Agostino gets his first ever playoff goal. So a lot of rookies getting their first playoff goals in this game, and we're going to win our first playoff game of this entire franchise mode, and first of the series, obviously, against Colorado. In Colorado, which is also really nice. So that second line actually did really good this game, because 3 players on that line, all 3 of them had 1 goal. And it was all their first playoff goals, too. So Genther from Keller and Campbell. So Jack Campbell picked up an assist, which is kind of cool. Farinacci from Ponomarov in Soderstrom. Fisher from Bodin and Geeky, who also gets his first ever playoff point. Shelley from Farinacci and Agostino from Chikrin and Farinacci. So Agostino with his first 2 playoff points. Farinacci had a 3-point night, and Shelley had the 1 goal. Pretty nice. Let's take a look at those player stats. Plus minus wise, Farinacci was a +3. A lot of other plus players, which is good to see. No minus players as well. I like to see that. How much shots did Shelley have? Shelley only shot 2 times in that game, which is kind of a surprise. Farinacci, though, shot 5 times. Goalie wise, Campbell was pretty solid as well with that 917. And the 3 stars of that game, Farinacci gets first star, Newhook the second star, and Landeskog the third. So Landeskog's been really good for Colorado. He's now got like 5 points in the first 2 games. So we definitely need to contain him a little bit more. But we have won a game at least in this round. I don't really expect us to win the series, but if we could win a couple games, that would be really nice. Especially against a team that won 50 games. So here we go, our first playoff game on home ice since 2012 in Arizona. Let's see if we could take a 2-1 series lead here. First period, and we're up 2-0. Let's go. Short-handed goal early from Victor Soderstrom, which it's kind of weird a defenseman scoring a short-handed goal, but that happened. And Philip Zadina scores as well. We're being outshot 11-9, but we got 2 goals on those 9 shots. Let's see what happens here in a second. We're up 3-2, so very similar to last game, where we scored a couple early and then they bounced back a bit. So Girard scores, MacKinnon scores another power play goal. I might really need to address that penalty kill unit. I'll probably do that going into next game. And then Agostino gets his second goal in as many games, and we're up by 1 goal again going into the third. Shots are now in our favor, 23-19. Let's see if we could lock this one down or get some insurance from like somebody like Shelley again. Because that second line has been doing probably our best on our team in terms of offense. Final 10 minutes here in the third period in Arizona. Can we hold them off? Surprisingly, we're holding down to less than 30 shots, and we are going to not win this game as Gregory Denisenko ties it up with 29 seconds left. That's a ball buster of a goal to give up Jack Campbell. That really sucks, as we were that close to going up 2-1 in the series, but Denisenko has other options, and I feel like Colorado could win an OT, to be honest. Shots are 29-26 in favor of us. Let's see if we could win it in OT. Who wants to be the OT hero for us? Calvin Shelley? I know you like to shoot the puck, man. How about Farinacci? Or even a top liner like Keller or somebody that's been here for a while. Maybe Christian Fischer. I don't know. Chikrin? I really don't know who I want to call upon to score a goal, and Colorado wins an OT, and look who it is. It's Landeskog. Landeskog's been way too good in this playoffs against us, and we're going to lose 4-3 as we blew the game late and lose an OT. We made kind of a mistake that a young team would make, but still not a bad game in terms of offense and stuff like that against a team like Colorado. A lot closer than I thought it would be. Soderstrom from Ponomarev and Farinacci, Zadina from Chikrin and Soderstrom, and Agostino from Jokiharju. But we need Shelley to start scoring more goals, because right now he's not scoring a lot. But then again, he's only like an 82 and he's in his rookie season. But I think I am going to address that penalty kill especially. So Soderstrom got a first star, which is impressive. Agostino the second star, and Landeskog to third. But yeah, I'm definitely going to address our penalty kill unit a little bit going into next game, just because that penalty kill has not been great. And Samorukov is back, which means we are going to be sending down Tukinen again to the AHL, which kind of sucks because obviously he's not been terrible so far. He's a -1. He's got 2 penalty minutes. But yeah, we're going to send him down. And Samorukov being back in our lineup, hopefully that gives us a little bit of a boost on the back end and also helps out our penalty kill a little bit, because maybe that's the reason we lost some games, is because Tukinen was on the penalty kill. I don't know. So we'll go back to that. So Timmins and Samorukov and Baudin and Jokiharju. Just got to make sure he's on the penalty kill. Yeah, that's good. Yep, that is all good to go. So just make sure he's back to full health, because he might get re-injured if he's not. He should be back to full health considering it's the 26th, and I think that's when it said he would be back. No, he's not back to full health yet, which kind of sucks. But hopefully he doesn't get re-injured in this game. Okay, so I think that's going to be our only penalty kill adjustment, is having Samorukov back, because why not? Let's see what happens in game number 4. See if we could tie the series up again, or are we going to go down 3-1 with this loss. Come on, boys. We're on home ice. We need to take advantage of it. First period, we're tied at 1. Okay, I'll take that. Rantanen scores and Farinacci. So Farinacci's on like a point scoring streak right now. He's had like points in 3 straight games. And we're outshooting him pretty bad at 11-6 after 1. So a pretty good opening period. But I would like to score a little bit more goals than 1 goal. Second period, and it's 3-2 for us now. Zadina and Agostino score, so Agostino as well has been putting up points in the last few games, and then Landeskog again scores for them. Like I said in game 1, Landeskog was going to go off, and he did, because he scored 2 goals in that first game, and he hasn't looked back since. We're outshooting him 26-10, but we're up only by 1 goal, so Jack Campbell hasn't been great so far. Let's see what happens here in the third, see if we can lock this one down. We need some insurance, though. Penalty kill, which has been struggling lately, and they're going to get another power play goal. It's Nathan MacKinnon. That power play just moves the puck way too good. Like, that top line power play unit probably has Landeskog, Rantanen, MacKinnon, Makar, and Bowen Byram, so no way you're stopping that. And Trevor Moore gets a late goal. Oh my god, Jack Campbell. And we're going to lose and go down 3-1 in the series, because Jack Campbell has been letting in a lot of late goals in the last few games. And we all shot them badly as well. So I think I'm going to turn to a Lenefelt for next game, because Jack Campbell has really dropped the ball lately. But yeah, that was a game we should have won probably. Considering we were up 3-1 at one point, and then a late goal from Trevor Moore won it for them. So Farinacci from Agostino, Zadina from Hayton and Keller, and Agostino from Farinacci. So Agostino and Farinacci have been good together, but Shelley has been pretty quiet for the most part, because he only has like 1 goal in this series. So I might adjust the lineup and see what we could do in terms of getting Shelley more of an opportunity to score. We could also take Lawrence out of the lineup, because Yeah, I'm going to take Lawrence out of the lineup. He's a -3. We got to protect our youngsters, and we will give the opportunity to Michael Del Cole. And then I think I'm going to change up the lines a little bit, just to see if maybe I'll put actually the top line as Agostino, Fernacci, and Shelley. Move that actual top line down to the second line because they have not scored really that much. And I think that might be all I do. Yeah, I think that's what I'll try. And then defensively, I really don't know what we could do. We could put Timmins back with Chikrin, Samorukov back with Soderstrom. We'll try that out. And yeah, we're going to take Jack Campbell out because he's not been good at all in the playoffs so far. And we'll run to Linnefelt and see how he is. But taking Lawrence out of the lineup kind of sucks because obviously he's got potential. But obviously we want to kind of protect our youngsters in this playoffs. And we don't want to overuse them. So Michael Del Cole being in the lineup, hopefully that helps us out a bit, even though Del Cole is more of an offensive player than a defensive one. So let's get into game number 5 and see if we can fight off elimination, or are we going to be knocked out in 5 games. First period, we're up 2-0. Okay, I'll take that. Agostino and Fernacci are on like a 4-game point streak, so they've been our best players by far. We're outshooting them 15-4 as well, which is a very good start to this game. Hopefully we can continue that in the second period. Second period, then we're up 4-2. Let's go. So Bennett makes it 2-1, but then Soderstrom, and look who it is, Michael Del Cole gets thrown in the lineup, makes it 4-1, but then Maltsev pulls them within 2. Shots are 21-14 in favor of us. We're up by 2 goals. Let's see if we can lock this one down, but not too bad so far from the offense. But Denisenko scores another power play goal. Our penalty kill has been trash in this round. It's probably been one of the worst I've seen. We kill off one there, and they're going to get a short-handed goal from Landeskog. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this sim engine definitely wants us to lose, but it kind of makes sense because Colorado is such a good team. But it's a 4-4 game, and we are going to overtime. If we don't score in OT, we're going to be packing our bags. Shots are 32-23 in favor of us. It's a 4-4 game because the Avs have came back from a 4-2 deficit. But then again, this is a young team. We blow leads a lot because we're young. But let's see what happens in OT. See if we could win this game and stay off elimination. Penalty kill. Oh, no. Okay, good. We killed off a penalty, which is kind of a surprise. And we win in OT. What is this? Nick Baudin, of all people, wins it in OT. And we fight off elimination. And we have survived another day, which is a really big surprise considering that penalty kill. But Fernacci from Agostino and Chikrin, Agostino from Fernacci and Soderstrom, Soderstrom from Agostino and Shelley, so Agostino picking up more points and Shelley picking up his first assist of the playoffs. Del Cole from Samorukov and Fisher, so Samorukov helping out a little bit, and Baudin from Keller and Hayton. Let me just take a look at player stats. Who is badly minus in that game? Chikrin was, not a surprise. And in goalie-wise, not a great game from Linnefelt, but at least he won the game, so 3 stars in that game. Agostino gets first star with 3 points. Soderstrom the second star, and Maltsev the third. I guess we'll just keep our lineup the exact same because we scored 5 goals. I guess when we score 5 goals, we actually win games because our first win was with 5 goals, but every other game we hadn't scored 5 goals. So let's see what happens in game number 6. See if we can tie the series up, headed to Colorado, as we have home ice advantage now in this game. And if we win this game, then the back's against the wall for the Avs, even if they are on home ice. So let's see what happens here. First period of game 6, and it's 2-1 for us. Let's go. Okay, the boys are starting to click. Coach scores on the power play, and then MacKinnon scores for them, which is kind of scary. And then Shelley gets his second in the playoffs. That's exactly what we need from Calvin. Shots are 13-10 in favor of us, but we're only up by a goal. Second period, and we're up 4-2. Let's go. Agostino is killing it. Holy man. He's on like a 5-game point streak, I think, in the playoffs so far. But Trevor Moore tied the game up on the power play, so our penalty kill's still doing hot garbage. But Agostino with 2 goals late in the second period, and we're outshooting him, or they're outshooting us badly, 28-19. So Linnefelt has definitely been the better of the 2 goalies in the playoffs, which is kind of weird. But let's see what happens here in this third period. See if we can lock it down. And an early 2 goals from Bennett. What the heck is happening? Jeez. Never mind, Linnefelt has not been the better of the 2 goalies. But 2 goals in 16 seconds apart. Kind of unrealistic to an extent, but yikes. That's not how you want to start a elimination game third period. And once again, we're going to another OT period. The shots are 39-25 in favor of Colorado, so I'm really surprised we're not losing this game already. But more likely at this rate, we are going to lose this game in OT. But let's see if we can fight off elimination with another OT win. Who wants to be that hero for us? Nick Beaudin was the hero last game. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Power play. And we score. What is this? Barrett Hayton. Oh, my God. Barrett Hayton scores on the power play. And we fight off elimination again, despite getting badly outplayed by the Avs. The shots were 42-26. We win 5-4 in OT, and we have forced a Game 7 against a 50-win team. We're definitely being a cheese team right now, because we should not be matching up so good against these guys, but wow, what a game that was. So Gauthier from Zadina and Hayton, Shelley from Farinacci and Agostino, Agostino from Farinacci and Shelley, Agostino from Chikrin, and Hayton from Keller and Agostino. So Agostino is a literally hack. He literally has like 10 points, I think, this round already. Maybe even more than that. And then Shelley's been solid. And Farinacci's been good. But Agostino has been the MVP on this team. 4 points in that game. And he's had points in like his last 5 games. Watch, he's probably not going to get any points in Game 7 though. But my God. And a couple minus players, and then, yeah, not a bad game from Alenefelt. We're definitely going to keep Alenefelt in for Game 7, I think. But Agostino, again, the first star of the game. Bennett, the second star, with those 2 quick goals in the third period, which kind of scared me. And Barrett Hayton with the OT winner and an assist. And we're going to a Game 7 against the toughest team probably in the league, almost, to an extent. And I guess I'm not going to change anything, but we've won back-to-back OT games. We went to one OT game here. If we would have beat them on that game, we would have won the series already, which is pretty crazy to see against a tough team like this. But let's see if we can complete the comeback from a 3-1 deficit and win in Game 7. Just going to keep the lineup the exact same, see what happens. But yeah, it seems like our top guns are getting going, which is good. First period of Game 7, and we're up 1-0 after 1. Vasily Ponomarev with his first ever playoff goal. Shots are 13-10, or not 10, 13-11 in favor of us. Let's see if we can keep it up in the second, and see if we can add some more insurance goals. Second period, and we're down 3-2. There's the team I know. Ponomarev gets his second in the night to make it up 2-0, but MacKinnon, Rantanen, those guys were kind of quiet. Well, Rantanen was. MacKinnon not so much, but they get another power play goal to get them ahead with 3 unanswered goals. Rouching 26-18, so it's kind of reversed roles of last game. Let's see if we could tie this one up and force another OT, or are we going to lose in 7 games? Come on, boys. Calvin, Shelley, Agostino, keep your point streak going. Farinacci, come on, somebody. Nope. I feel like this is the game Agostino's point streak is going to come to an end, because that always seems to happen. Final few minutes of Game 7. Can we tie this game up? And no, we can't. Bowen Byram gets his first of the playoffs on an empty net, and we lose in 7 games to the Colorado Avalanche. But I think that was a really good experience, actually, for the young guys. So despite us losing in 7 games, it might be a little bit of a heartbreak, but we did force Game 7 against a very tough team. So Ponomarev with the only 2 goals, one from Gauthier and Soderstrom, the other from Genther and Bonin. So yeah, the point streak ended for the Top Guns at the worst time possible, obviously. And yeah, then also there was a lot of minus players on the team, and Alenefelt was not terrible, but he was still not great. 3 stars of the game: Rantanen, MacKinnon, and MacKinnon. So now that that is done, let's take a look at our player stats for that playoff round, and it will simulate to the awards and the draft and all that stuff, because this episode, actually, I don't know if I'll simulate up to the draft yet. No, I probably should, even though this episode's like 30-something minutes. But let's take a look at who ends up winning awards. Actually, let me take a look at our player stats first, just because I didn't do that. I said I was going to do that. Almost forgot. So, in terms of player stats, so John Farinacci, fantastic playoffs for him. 10 points in 7 games and a +9. Definitely that line has got some good chemistry. Shooting 16.7% as well. Ponomarev and Hayton, 4 points. Not too bad. Geeky had 1 point only in 7 games, and it was a -5. Maybe he's not fully ready yet for the NHL, but he probably will be next year. Agostino, 12 points in 7 games. What a round from Tyler Agostino in his first ever playoffs. Like, he only had 59 during the regular season, but over a point per game in the playoffs, shooting 30% as well, which is nuts. And then Keller, 4 assists. Keller was really quiet, didn't score enough goals. And he is still signed for 3 more seasons, which is kind of scary. I don't know if we want to replace him at some point. Zadina, 3 points only as well. Yeah, it seems like a lot of our top line kind of guys originally during the regular season weren't that good. Ganther, 2 points. Dalcole, 1 point. And nothing for Lawrence. And then Shelley, 4 points in 7 games, so he's a little bit quiet, but still a +7. His shooting percentage wasn't that good, but he did shoot a lot of pucks. Had 1 game-winning goal in his first ever playoff round. You'll expect some big things from him in the future, but right now he still needs time to develop, and obviously he gives the puck away a decent amount right now too. Fisher, 2 points, and Gauthier, only 2 points. Defensively, Soderstrom, 6 points, is pretty good. Chikrin, 4 points. Baudet, 3. Sam Marukov was solid. Jokiharju was not great. And Connor Timmins was really quiet. He had 30 points in the regular season, but didn't pick up a single one in the playoffs. And in goaltending-wise, our goaltending was not that great at all. I'd say that. But still, I'd say a successful playoffs for Agostino, Farinacci, and a couple other guys, but mainly Farinacci and Agostino. Those guys were nuts. So there is that. Now let's sim up to the awards, find out who won the Stanley Cup and all that, because we got to get that done. Take a look at the playoff tree as well. And who's going to win the Stanley Cup this year? We did get an achievement, so looks like I got, we won a Jack Adams award, which is nice. Because I guess it's the exact same achievements as NHL 21, but we won the Jack Adams, so we know our head coach won an award. But the Boston Bruins won the Cup, and Utica wins the Calder Cup. Interesting. Let's take a look at those awards and the playoff tree, because why not? So Boston beat Colorado in the finals in 6 games, so we lost to the best team in the West in 7 games. So we gave them a run for their money. They actually went to 3 Game 7s, though, which is nuts. Almost 4. Interesting. Let's take a look at those awards. So the Stanley Cup is the Boston Bruins, obviously, like I was just saying, Winnipeg, the Presidents, and Colorado and Boston Cup Finals. Scheifele wins the Art Ross, MacKinnon the Hart, Klingberg wins the Norris for Pittsburgh, MacKinnon wins the Bing. John Farinacci is going to get the Calder over whoever it was that was ahead of him in points, but John Farinacci, a Calder Memorial Trophy winner, that's awesome to see. He had a really good rookie season. And sucks that Shelley didn't get it, but Farinacci got it. Malkin gets the Conn Smythe in Boston, which is kind of weird. John Gibson the Vezina and the Jennings. Thomas Chabot the Masterton, our head coach, who we brought in actually like a season ago only. I think this was his first season, wins the Jack Adams, which is really good to see. Couturier wins the Selke, McDavid the Lindsay, and MacKinnon the Maurice Richard. AHL-wise, any awards for our AHL team? Don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, unfortunately. But those are the awards. Let's take a look at the draft lottery results and all that stuff. Set this up for next episode. I'll also show you guys the draft class and the contract situation. That'll be it for this episode. Draft lottery doesn't really matter too much because we don't really have a high up first rounder since we actually made the playoffs. Retirements, don't really matter for us because we're a young team. But these are the top retirements. Top goalies. Carey Price retires. That's a pretty big loss for Montreal. But there you go. Okay, who's going to be a coach? Ryan Suter, PK Subban, and Blake Wheeler. Interesting. And Bobby Ryan and Broussard are now scouts. We did not lose any of our coaches, which is good as well. And continue simulating. So let's take a quick look at that draft class and the contract situation. And also the progress reports, and then that'll be it for this episode because this episode's pretty damn long so far. You guys will probably be able to tell that I lost in the first round anyways, but so we are drafting where? Is it like 15th or something? Draft board. We are going to be drafting at number 18 this year. Interesting. So let's take a look at what is right around number 18. Or we could try and move up, but I don't really know too much about this draft class to move up enough. But there is some top 6 forward prospects, like Bykov, for example, who looks pretty solid. Scrivens, who's from like France. Also like Saint Denis. Hickman's pretty solid. Interesting. Any low elites that we could pin for the later rounds, because that would be pretty nice. We did pin a couple guys during the regular season that still look okay, but they're probably not low elites. Interesting. Let's take a quick look at the progress reports and the contract situation. Modified. So Agostino's getting some development. He's going to be on our second line still next season. Some of it's statistical, some of it's natural. Barrett Hayden's apparently getting some statistical growth and stuff like that. Shelley's up to an 84, which is really good to see. I don't know if this is statistical based. That sucks. Some of it's natural though. But yeah, he's going to end up wanting a lot of money at some point. But as you would expect with this team being as young as they are, a lot of growth. And a lot of growth in the system as well, which is always good to see. If you see anything you want to point out, let me know down below in the comments, because some of these guys might be jumping into the NHL next year. Because like Ortmeyer has like an X factor, we'll have to probably sign him for the AHL. Guys like Howe and stuff like that are getting closer to the NHL at some point. But seems like Wallsted's not getting any development, which is really concerning. Tracy obviously could be in the NHL next year on like the 4th line. So that is that. And let's take a quick look at that contract situation. See whose contracts are up this year. So we got to give a big contract to Philip Zadina this year. He doesn't actually want too much, which is good. Gauthier's contract is also up. We could always bring him back or play young guys in the AHL. Ponomarov is going to need a new contract. Sam Rukov, Asplund, Bodine, Dalcole. So just let me know what you guys think we should be offering these guys and how much term, that type of thing. Because we will need to free up some contract room for younger guys. Because I would like to sign Ortmeyer for sure. But I'd like to also try and sign some of these other prospects we got drafted as well. So anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. And I'll see you guys next time.